Lynette Oxley here for Tack Shack Tactical TV. I don't know if it's too early because there's some laughing. Sorry. I'm here with Paul. At least I'm not replaced again this week, or it was 2 weeks ago.
Well, last week you weren't replaced at all. Neither of us were.
Yeah. So,
hello, Lynette.
for the first time in 3 weeks I'm here.
Well, that's true.
So it goes. What are we talking about today?
Okay, so I spent most of the last couple of days preparing, and most of today speaking at in a meeting with SAPS, as a Teams meeting. So thank God I didn't have to waste time traveling. Yeah, so it's SAPS's bum is in a crack, to put it so quite plainly. They've neglected to do everything that they were told to do by the courts. Well, they've neglected to do everything that Parliament told them to do for the last 20 years with regards to electronic connectivity, which is specified in the Act. It's the basis that the Firearms Control Act was built upon, was this idea of electronic connectivity, so that we have checks and balances. We can at any time ascertain what the condition of a firearm, who it belongs to, is it licensed, isn't it licensed?
What caliber code is
yeah, well, that too.
Like
but
that.
All sorts of things like that. And electronic connectivity was included in the Act, and was never implemented by SAPS because SAPS are just damned useless, so they paid 450 odd million rand for the enhanced firearms management system to Waymark, who produced a piece of crap. They could literally have put the damn thing on a database, on a spreadsheet, the detail of the information that they had, for free. But they employed Waymark Systems, and Waymark Systems managed to bend them over for 450 million.
Us.
Of our money.
Us.
Okay. Then a couple of years ago, they launched an investigation into, did they actually get their money's worth out of Waymark?
And did they?
Waymark, by the way, are a very clever bunch. They managed to take the Nigerian Electoral Commission for a ride. Now, you've got to be skilled. I mean, that displays a level of sophistication and skill to take the Nigerians for a ride. So yeah, these guys were granted the contract and paid, and then years afterwards, SAPS was looking for somebody to tell them whether they'd actually got their money's worth. In any case,
Which they paid again.
So in 2019, we were in court when myself and it was GOSA Law 2 at that stage. Anika and I were in court in the Northcliff High Court when the South African Arms and Ammunition Dealers Association, SADA, took the government to court, took SAPS to court for implementation of the electronic connectivity. That's 4 years ago. It was early in 2019. So it was yeah,
a long time
ago anyway. So long ago I can't even remember. I'm too old for it. Anyway, and the judge said quite emphatically, you've got to implement electronic connectivity within 2 years, the judge gave them. B, you've got to consult with SADA and the other parties involved in this, particularly the parties that are before the courts at this stage. And remember, that was us.
Yeah,
because we at that stage, we had the interdict against the SAPS.
Yeah. SADA, just explain to people what SADA is, because
I just explained to them. I said the South African
I'm a bit slow. Stop it.
Yeah.
Are we gonna?
Okay, so
out of trading. Sorry.
Sorry. Anyway, so we were in court at the time when the judge made the order. Of course, none of us have ever heard from SAPS after that. So SADA's been chasing them. They had them back in court. Now it's past every possible deadline. Then the cops came up with that e-connectivity that the E form for the 350s, and tried to pass that off as e-connectivity.
It has made things a little bit better, a little bit
It's
better.
a tiny fragment of what e-connectivity is supposed to be.
Absolutely.
In any case, but they never approached us and asked us for our input. Any of us, SADA or ourselves. So anyway, it drags forward court case by court case by court case. Eventually, SADA again manages to get the CFR in court, now wants to have them found in contempt of court. Because exactly what they've done, they've been contemptuous of the order. So SAPS rushes out a request for quotation. And this is through their through the State Information Technology Agency, who's the in-house bunch that are supposed to look after the SAPS computer systems, the guys that currently maintain the enhanced firearms management system.
She's not doing well.
Well, that are not doing well.
It loses and changes stuff.
They are not doing well at all. In any case, so CETA puts out the request for proposal, and I've worked through this, and we've worked through this, and it doesn't mention any user outside SAPS themselves. So it doesn't mention the industry. It doesn't mention dealers. It doesn't mention the public having access to the system. Nothing. It's what we would expect.
Yeah.
SAPS then, the end of last month, they put out an urgent message to not just to SADA. So you must remember, SADA doesn't represent, in fact, many dealers. They represent maybe a third of the dealers in the country, maybe. They also don't represent transporters and freight forwarders.
And the man on the street.
And the man on the street, they don't. Yeah, there we go. In any case, so they put out an invitation to attend a Teams meeting, but they invite SADA. But not only do they invite SADA, they invite all the dealers in the country individually. So we look at this thing and we think, whoa, okay, this is a box checking exercise. They're now trying to put some form of defense in front of the courts and say, oh, look at all the people we consulted with. So this thing goes out. So it was then rescheduled. It was supposed to be in the beginning of this month. It was rescheduled. It was held this morning. So from 9 o'clock until 12 o'clock this morning, I was on this. At least, as I say, I didn't have to drive through to Pretoria or anywhere for this meeting, because it was just a Teams meeting. At which time, SAPS puts forward the proposition that they only have to talk to dealers. Now, we're a dealer. So we were in the meeting, but we were in the meeting as GOSA, but nonetheless. They put forward the idea that they're just speaking to the dealers because the court only told them to speak to the dealers. But that's not what the Constitution says about consultation. The Constitution talks about consultation with stakeholders. It talks about all the people affected. And interestingly, SAPS had invited at least 2 people from Gun Free South Africa into the Teams meeting.
What the hell have they got to do with connectivity?
Well, you see, so this goes to the point that SAPS are trying to make, saying, no, but the court only told us to talk to the dealers. So then why did you invite
Gun Free South Africa,
Claire Taylor and Adele Kirsten into the meeting?
And what does it have to do with connectivity? What do they have to do with connectivity?
Well, yes, okay, granted. So anyway, so the meeting is held. So we thought, oh God, this is going to be a dog's breakfast, because they've got like hundreds of people on the invite. As it was, probably, I think, 80 to 90 people were in the meeting. But 80 to 90 people, if everybody wants to have his little say, is going to turn into a total train smash. I mean, a 3-hour meeting with 80, 90 people putting in a couple of minutes each, that's it, it's done. So and the agenda was typically SAPS. very narrow. They tell you what they're going to tell you. The one light point, or one of the important points, was that Major General Mamutete was scheduled to be in the meeting, and she was going to give the welcome, and she was going to give the conclusion, and blah, blah, blah. Now, she's in charge of Flash. She's the divisional head in charge of the firearms, liquor, and second-hand goods. So she has some authority. In any case, so the meeting dawns. Turns out that that Major General Mamutete has to go and tie the minister's shoelaces again. So she's not there. So the meeting falls to the chairmanship of Brigadier Sikakani. You know, our wonderful Brigadier Sikakani, who we caught in perjury and lying to the court, manufacturing evidence, all those good things. You know, the really reliable person that she is. In any case, so Sikakani tries to run the meeting, and she starts with a rigid agenda. No, but the court only said this, the court only said that. So interestingly, from the 80 or 5 or whatever, or 90 people that were in the meeting, you know, the number changes from time to time. Some people leave the meeting, some people come back, whatever. From the people that were in the meeting, Martin Hood, Jonathan Fouché, the chair of SADA, the Dealers Association, myself, and Stefano Pilla from Blue Log, probably were we continuously engaged. We probably held the floor for more than half of the meeting. Very few other people in the meeting. I think one gunsmith from Polokwane chipped in. I think Nicky Bernard chipped in right at the end. I think Damien Ensland from Saga chipped in right at the end. But the rest of the meeting was us asking them a question. And we held the line. I must say I was very proud to see how we didn't allow, and stood together, between myself and Stefano and Jonathan and Martin, we didn't allow the SAPS a moment of time to push this thing through. We kept saying to them, but the foundation of this meeting is flawed. If you don't have the fundamentals right, if you don't do what the Constitution tells you to do about consultation with stakeholders, if you don't do what the court tells you to do about consultation with the stakeholders, it's not going to fly. If you don't recognize that the users are more than just the SAPS, this is not going to fly. You're again going to end up with an unworkable product.
But they've already issued a...
So they've already...
the tender.
They've already issued the tender, by the way. Okay, so without knowing what the job scope actually is, because they haven't spoken to us yet, they've already issued the tender for another 300 million of your money. 300 million. If you say it quickly, it doesn't sound like much. So again, SAPS has this has gone out to, and I'm not slandering these guys, I don't know what their capabilities are. Nothing of that was presented to us in the meeting, by the way. Providence Software Solutions of Sandton, if anybody's got any idea if these guys are legit or what their capacity and their capabilities are, please tell us. We've gone onto their website and we can't find much on there. They don't seem to have, we put to them in the meeting, have they got the capacity for this? Can they actually implement this? And we were told that we can't ask about their capacity because they've still got to show that. So no dude. Some colonel from technology services says to us, no, you've got to wait for them. You can't just prejudge them. But of course you can.
That's what
you've given them
about
300 million rand of taxpayers' money, of public money. You're giving them. Of course you can ask them whether they've got the bloody capacity. Of course you can satisfy the taxpayers. Us, we're also taxpayers. That they actually have the pounds to pay, that they actually have the goods to deliver. Of course you can ask them. So the meeting, we kept hammering them with this. The fundamentals are wrong. The fundamentals are wrong. Who are these people? What are you actually going to produce? Who are you going to produce it for? What are your timescales? They tell us that they haven't started development yet. and they tell us that the first version of this product will be available by May next year.
How the hell?
Yeah. Major technology project that's worth 300 million rand, and they'll have the first version ready by May 2024.
But if you just look at the 350s, what's happening on that database? The database, the SAPS database changes on a daily basis.
It flows like the tide, backwards and forwards.
It changes ownership, it changes caliber codes.
Absolutely.
All of those type of nice things.
It's ridiculous. So and part of the process in the request for the bid specification is that they will reach a point where they've developed the system, and then they will transfer all of the information from the enhanced firearms management system into this new system. We think, oh my God, really? The information is so corrupted, So this colonel in technology services says to me, no, but you can't, how can you say, I said to him, it's garbage. He says, how can you say it's garbage? I said to him, well, okay, let me put it this way. I'm a dealer. For 5 years now, we have our annual dealers inspections. We get given a list of firearms that SAPS insists that we should have in our safe. And it's missing half of the firearms that we actually do have in our safe. But of the firearms that are on this list, we go and look. We say, okay, but hang on a second. Those firearms have all been licensed. But they were licensed like 4 years ago, 5 years ago. They're out of the safe. They're with other people. They're with the owners. And then SAPS comes back to us and says, no, but we don't have any record of that.
Well, they issued the license.
Issued the damn licenses.
Exactly.
Then SAPS says to us, no, we must provide them with details of where these people are and confirmation. And we said, hey, we don't have investigative abilities.
We take copies of the license. We check the license.
We don't have powers. They come with a license that you've given them. We give them the gun. They've paid us. We give them the gun. It's their gun. They go away. Bye. We don't know where they live now. We don't know if they've moved. We don't know if they've sold the firearms. It's not our business. You have detectives. Go and bloody detect. Go and look for the damn things. Don't come to us with it. So anyway, so they keep producing this tired list of and there's firearms on the list which they insist we should have, that we've never had in our stock. Never. We've never taken them. We've never accepted them into our stock. Yeah. So how can we account for them?
But
so I said to the guy, so this is the problem. And so that's not the only problem. He says, so we've had these lists 5 years ago, and we were instructed that these are now missing. We can't account for these. We must write a report about where these guns are. And we did 5 years ago. The next year they come back with the same goddamn list with the same guns missing on them and present it to us again. And we respond, as per previous explanation, we've never had these guns, we've never seen them, they've licensed to other people, they're out of our stock. Bye. And then the year after that they come back with the same list again, and they come back with it. So I said to this colonel, we can't, it's pointless. We try to help you with the data. We give you the data, we give you as much information as we have, and you never capture it. So yes, garbage in, garbage out.
And then you've got guns that's already past the dealers, gone onto a gun shop, gone onto a license that goes back to Department 29. Is it 29?
Yeah, Government Department 29, import permits.
That's how ridiculous the system's, and it happens often.
So garbage in, garbage out. So eventually we decided that we weren't probably going to be friends. We then proposed that they start a new process, that they give us all the documents that we don't have on what the actual product is that they're looking for, that they've contracted for 300 million rand for, that they tell us who these people are, that they proved this and that and the other, and that they include us in the process from the start.
That's not what
Brigadier
they wanted to hear.
Sikakani then goes back and they have a private, they just go offline, all of the SAPS members, and the rest of us are like, hello, is anybody there? Hello, where's the meeting gone to? And we talk amongst ourselves. Eventually one of the guys pops up and says, no, we're just having an offline discussion. Well, okay, thanks for telling us. we'll be back to you in 5 or 10 minutes. So we wait, and they come back to us and they say, okay, no. Brigadier Sekakani comes back and she says, yeah, but only 3 of you or 4 of you have objected to the process out of everybody here. So therefore, we're just going to go on with the agenda. So, I said to Brigadier Sekakani, well, you know, we understand that you have a scant regard for the law and process, but we insist that you actually go forward with this. Let's see in the chat on the side here, all of the dealers, all of the members of this meeting that agree with us, please have your say now. The guys start coming in, yeah, we agree, postpone, 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 postpone. So eventually they take this on board and they say to us, this was only at like almost 2.5 hours into the bloody meeting. They come back to us and they say, okay, they're going to postpone. They're going to, in the next 7 days, they're going to send us all the documents we've requested.
That's not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen. They're going to send us the documents that we've requested, and they'll reschedule a meeting, another meeting, when we've actually got the information to respond to. So we'll see what happens. So what was nice is that they're talking to us. What was nice is the colonel from Technology Services, by the way, understands that they have to talk to us. Brigadier Sekakani doesn't. You know, she's thick as 2 short planks. No, seriously. I mean, apart from the fact that she's corrupt and a criminal in the office, effectively, she's not very bright. You know, sorry, Brigadier Sekakani. I'm sure you're a very nice person. In any case, so they understand that we actually have to talk to us. They understand that not only is there a court order, but there's a constitutional obligation on them to consult with us, consult with all the users. So they're going to allow us. They're going to schedule another meeting at which we may allow them to talk, and that will be in a couple of weeks' time. So guys, watch the space. We'll report back to you. That was exhausting. Even talking about it was exhausting.
Even for me, it was exhausting.
Yeah. So anyway, where were we? Okay. So this is like ignoring the elephant in the room. So the news cycle has been completely absorbed for the last 2 weeks by the developments in Israel and Palestine, and GOSA wants to stay out of their politics because their politics is their politics. But we will say the following: we completely abhor any loss of civilian life from whichever side. We know, we understand, we see in front of our eyes that the first casualty of war is always the truth. And I'm not saying that anybody who is lying or that anybody is lying in specifically, but we can see this happening in front of our eyes. We can see claims that are being made and refuted within hours. And the propaganda battle washes backwards and forwards. This thing's still got a way to go. We'll see where it ends. We as gun owners of whatever ilk must look to this for lessons that we need to take out of this. Israel, as it turns out, has a rather restrictive civilian firearms policy. The affairs of Saturday morning, the 7th of October, happened. We don't know why there was an intelligence failure, how this happened, but what happened was that
people
were murdered en masse without being able to defend themselves. So that's where our game comes in. That's where we are concerned. It seems that Israel's policies towards civilian firearm ownership are
It's been in the last years.
Inadequate.
There's been
Perhaps we can just call them inadequate. It's not the situation that we would ever like to have to face in South Africa. The only people that have firearms are ex-service members who are able to apply to own a pistol, and they're only allowed 50 rounds of ammunition with it.
I didn't even know that.
So we hear that idiot in the hat, Tale, squeaking off in KZN about all the ammunition that's found at these cash-in-transit heists and during all of these operations, and he's very worried about this, conveniently forgetting that they 2 years ago lost 1 million rounds, or lost 1 million rounds of Magtech ammunition that was under their care.
I just wanted to mention that container.
He doesn't.
In KZN,
that was looted in
Durban.
So he wants to know where the ammunition must be coming from licensed firearm owners.
No, it's not.
You know.
If we can just afford ammunition now.
So what we can see from that is that SAPS is again revving up the engine to try to apply stricter control over ammunition, particularly, because this is now something that they've decided is a soft way in. Neglecting, of course, that they are the major source of ammunition for the cash and transit gangs and for the other robbers. They wanted
to stop reloading
They wanted to stop reloading until they had to use the reloaders, the sport shooters in Reservoir Hills to produce ammunition for the police station. But that's nonetheless, they want to do the same sort of thing. The government wants to take away. So although the ANC government has declared themselves to be in solidarity with Hamas, they want to adopt the methodologies of the Israeli government and restrict our ammunition. So you can see how all of these things are actually, all of these fights that we fight are actually international. Had the Israeli civilians been better armed with their own firearms, they might have been in a much better position to defend themselves
and their families.
So there was one particular example that I'm going to quote, and that is the security coordinator, Lieberman, the lady, a 25-year-old young lady, security coordinator at one of the kibbutzes near right next door to the kibbutz that was destroyed. She heard the explosions early on Saturday morning.
Situational awareness.
And she said to herself, something is wrong. This is not just ordinary rocket attacks from Gaza, because they're right on the border with Gaza. And she went and she opened this is the thing. So she's the security coordinator. She had 12 security personnel at the kibbutz. She had to go and open the armory and dish out firearms to those 12 people. But at least she had access to the firearms. And they defended their kibbutz. They shot a number of people that were trying to attack their kibbutz. So access to firearms, easy access to firearms, and the easier the access, the more effective they are. But even in that slightly stilted way of having to go and open an armory and take firearms out, even that protected their community. So that's the lesson we have to draw from this. The lesson we have to draw is that civilian firearm ownership
is the only way.
Crucial. It's the army and the police may get to you half an hour later, 2 hours later, 6 hours later, because they may be overwhelmed in other areas, as we saw in the KZN riots 2 years ago. The only defense that you and me and you and him and you guys out there have is your own firearms.
Absolutely.
And they should preferably be as accessible as possible. The more accessible they are, the more effectively you can defend yourself and your families and your communities. That's the lesson we need to draw from this. So whilst we wish that the situation resolves itself in some way that doesn't involve the mass slaughter of innocents. The message we must draw from this is let's learn. Let's look at this and learn. It's horrific, but let's look at it and learn. So that if something horrible happens closer to home, we have the ability to look after ourselves. That's all we're going to say about it.
Can I maybe chip in? And last Friday night, so a week ago, we were at the candlelight vigil that for Ribbons for Justice with Keshna and them.
Yeah. It was the anniversary of
Chad's death.
Chad's death. He was stabbed to death in their own home.
7:15 on the 13th of October.
Correct.
So any case, and there was candles lit for people that was affected by crime, that couldn't defend themselves.
Yeah.
So let's learn those lessons that you just talked about. The police is not going to be there.
Yep.
Your security company is not going to be there. In the end, it's you and the perpetrator.
At the end of the day, a security or police can only ever be reactive.
Yeah.
They can't be there before the attack happens. They can't. Because the attackers are going to make sure that the police aren't around when they're going to attack you. Because they're not stupid. You know, if you're standing next to a guy, an armed guy, they're probably not going to attack you. You're going to wait until he walks around the corner to go and have a smoke. And then they're going to attack you. So you're always exposed when the actual incident happens.
You're your own first responder, and that's the only thing.
You have to be your own first responder. There is nobody coming to help you.
Yeah.
Not for those critical couple of minutes, hours, days even, if you're relying on the South African police.
I recently spoke about some police stations that don't react. The telephone lines are down. I think it's something like 2 hours. We did some research that if the police do pitch up, it's 2 hours later.
Well, if they answer the phone to start with, they don't answer the phone.
Most of the time
if they answer the phone, they'll say to you, "Oh, we don't have a van, sorry."
Yeah.
Or all our vans are broken, or we don't have petrol, or we don't have airtime, or I'm not quite sure what. You know, there's all sorts of, there's a million reasons why the South African police sit on their asses and do nothing. You are responsible for your own security.
And the only way you can really do it in the South African context is with a firearm.
In any context. Yeah, we've just seen. This is not a South African situation we've been talking about. This can happen anywhere in the world. It really, really can. Attacks on civilians are happening on an ongoing basis everywhere.
And some of the images has been frightening for me as a woman. It's been very frightening.
Yeah, it's been shocking.
Shocking. So anyway.
All right, so speaking as a woman.
Yes, so we have our, probably the last one of the year. We might try and do another one in the Vaal because we've been approached for that.
Yeah.
But we are doing one at Cecil Payne, Introduction to Handguns. Girls on Fire Introduction to Handguns. We already have a huge number of ladies interested, so I think it's probably going to be one of our biggest ones.
Yeah, and we have a lot of space for people there too. We have the entire shooting facility at our disposal.
So we'll have a big classroom as well, and I know the French-Canadian film crew is coming again. We might have some people from Kaya FM coming. We have at least about, I think at this stage, about 15 of my range officers are already confirmed for that.
Wow.
So I think we're going to have a fantastic day.
So guys, the 11th of November.
Yeah.
It's just a little over 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
3 weeks away.
3 weeks.
Yeah, 3 weeks away. let's get the ladies in for that. It's going to be a big show.
So I know we're going to have bring extra guns. Usually we have 3 guns. We might, if the group is big enough, we'll have 6 guns or 9 guns to actually provide for the ladies.
So we can have as many people shooting at the same time as possible, which makes the day a little bit shorter.
Yeah.
Which means we don't have to, as we used to do with SADPA, end up shooting it with car headlights at night. Because
I could remember that a couple of times.
The guys couldn't get the damn shoots done in the day. Yeah. Anyway.
So last thing is we are busy with our calendars, the Girls on Fire calendars, which is our way to get some money in for the program.
Sure.
So hopefully that will be out by the end of this month. So at least we're in time now. We didn't do it a bit late.
We did our first calendar last year, but unfortunately by the time we managed to sort out all the logistics of actually publishing a calendar and getting it out there, it was too late to distribute for Christmas almost.
Yeah. So I hope please support us.
End of this month.
Yeah.
So we'll be distributing in November already.
And we will shoot.
And we're not just doing the tent calendars, the desktop calendars. We're doing, I believe, also
I'm going to
desk
do
blotters
and your a hanging calendar and a desk blotter.
Fantastic.
So we're busy with that. Hopefully, I'll be finished with that by Monday.
Yeah.
And then we can speak to the printers, and then we can take it from there.
Fantastic.
Anything else,
guys? Yeah. So I'm not wearing a Springbok shirt today, but and the dog's just swum in the pool.
Yeah.
Okay, let's wrap this up before he gets back there because he's soaking wet. And he's going to come and say, oh, look at that, look how wet I am. Mommy. So, guys, all the best to the box for tomorrow.
Yeah, and
Go Walker.
be safe out there.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Bye-bye.